Hello, fellow financial freedom fighters, and do I have something to show you? Now, I'm using a website here that, maybe isn't the answer all or say all of all the websites out there, but I just thought it was interesting. It was easy to use to go through this really quick. So feel free to go through this, but this is some basic information, but it's to prove a point. Okay. So in 2001, these are bank failures. Okay. It's showing the amount of the bank failure and it's showing which banks failed. Okay. And these are all broken up to millions. This particular bank is in the billions, I believe. So if it's 2,000% here, it shows that it's a very large amount. Now, 2001, what we had was coming off an end of a crash, right? 2000s were really rough, and we got into another war. And so you had four bank failures coming off that economic recession, more or less. And as we progress through here, right? 2002, we had 11 bank failures, right? System was hurting in some fashion or another, right? You had another big failure here, 1.3 billion. So big bank failures really hurt the system, really hurt. 1.3 billion, that's a kick in the shins, right? So you get to 2003 and some sort of controls in there, but you still got another billion loss. So with those losses, measures are put into place to stop that from happening, right? To slow it down, to understand what the market is and try to get some control in that. But if you notice right here, okay, still four bank failures and but more under control. But there's still bank failures going on, which maybe there should be a couple every year, right? Bad business practices. But here's where I got shocked is that in 2005, so economic crisis, failures starting, and then controls put in, there's no bank failures in 2005. Great. And going in 2006, one of the highest markets in history, there's no bank failures. Terrific. And then in 2007, three bank failures, one huge bank failure. Remember, those big bank failures really hurt the system. And literally the next year, only 25. That was when they announced the economic crisis and these big bank failures. Let's see if this one's Lehman Brothers. Thought that was, or did that come later? That might have came later. So Washington Mutual, I remember that one, just 300 million alone. Wells Fargo bought them out, I remember. But if you look at all these banks, that's 25 banks gone in that right after a year where there was only four, and 2 years before that, there was none. So all of a sudden, you have 25. Now, here's where it gets great. Is once people realize there's a problem in the system, like they've realized recently, that's when people start to tighten, stop lending to each other, and start to protect themselves, which doesn't circulate the system. It doesn't help. Because now you had 140 bank failures after that. We're talking billions, right? Talking absolutely billions of dollars. This is 43 billion on this one. I don't even know who that one is, right? So you have this massive avalanche, and we all remember that. We all remember everybody was in full panic. Why? Because the system stopped circulating. Our system's designed to circulate money and do deals with each other and earn a percentage. 2010, it actually goes up, right? So as things are getting worse, remember they said, oh, it's a double dip recession. Recession? These are banks closing. This is billions of dollars lost in all kinds of fashions. But if you look specifically, according to this data, there were just huge losses from specific banks or maybe banks that bought a lot, couldn't handle it, trying to buy up other banks, and they lose, $38 billion. So 175 banks, a lot of it might be small. Other big banks bought them up and then they lost it too. Now, 2011, it slightly gets better, right? Oh, we only lost 92. But if you look at these other banks that are going under are still in the billions, still in the billions. So what's really getting better if you're losing billions at a time? And we remember they said 2012 was a double dip recession. You still have now lost over, what is that, 300 banks? Maybe more? And these are just the ones that are recorded. This is just this site. Maybe somebody else has a different form of measurement. But that's the interesting part, is the run up to that. Now, as we come out of this, I want to show something specific. So 25, we went from 50 now to 24 banks. See, it's going down. It's the measures were put in, they're stimulating the economy, they're lowering those interest rates, right? They're making this become less of a problem, right? 6 billion, but that was the big one for the year. All the others are small. We're getting the situation under control. Now, that's 2015 when most markets across the nation started changing. Wow, property prices are going up, the economy's doing great. 5 bank failures in 2006. Wow, that's a long way from just a couple of years ago. That's a drastic turnaround. And 2017, right? 8 bank failures. So banks are still failing. And then no bank failures in 2018, right? So what a great opportunity. And then there's 4 bank failures. And then there's another 4 bank failure. So banks are still failing. It's almost like we're not out of the weeds, or maybe that's a normal trend, maybe not. But if you remember, there was 2 years when the markets were the highest, 2005 and 2006. 2021, there was no bank failures. In 2022, there was no bank failures. And in 2023, 5 bank failures. There is not the records in for 2024, and we already know of 1 major bank failure. Now, I'm not saying 2024 will be the year, but if you remember, if it was 2005, 2006, no bank failures, 2007, bank failures started, 2008, not that many banks had failed. So that'd be 2024, 2025. This would be on projection for 2026, 27, 28 to be the catastrophic failures. That's massive, folks. That's absolutely massive to look at that. So let this be an idea that history could possibly repeat itself, maybe in a different way. Maybe some other industries collapse, or maybe the tech industry collapses. Who knows? But at the end of the day, in the highest markets in history, banks weren't collapsing. Now banks are screaming for help. Literally a year ago when we have 5 bank failures. Just in the hundreds of millions, not in the billions yet. But are we trending up? Ask yourself, do you understand that? Do you know that? The bank loans won't be available. Credit will dry up. There's not going to be all those outlets for you to seize opportunity in these markets. If you don't understand how to build that now, you're not going to do it when the market crashes. So I hope you like this video. Go ahead, like, subscribe. It really helps me out to be able to share things with this, like these things like this with you folks, to think about this. Think about where we're at. If there was no bank failures and now they're ramping up. Why? What was so great about those years? Opportunities now. Have a great night.